All right. Maybe first let us introduce ourselves. Hello, my name is Radinda Rosaria Ramdani, and I'm here with my friend.
Okay.
All right.
Indah Pesona Aisyah.
And are a college student from State Islamic University, Sunan Gunung Jati, Bandung, in English Education major. And what's your name?
Oh, my name is Ryan Anthony Ibrahim.
All right. Hello, sir. Sir Ryan Anthony. That's a
Yes.
great name. All
Thank you.
right. Our purpose in this Zoom meeting is for finish our last examination. Yeah, this is the project who interview a native speaker who have
Okay.
a question, teacher or lecturer. Thanks before Mr. Ryan to join our meeting. And then I got some information that you are a lecturer. Is that right?
Yes, I do it sometimes. Yeah.
Oh.
Different universities and also different campuses, even high school as well.
Oh. What kind have you have?
Okay, Mr. Ryan, where to teach and how long it's been?
Oh, well, I have my own business. And so I kind of like freelance to different universities like Unpad, also Widyatama, and what else? Yeah, Unisba, many universities actually.
That's
And I've been
really
doing this since 2006, something like that.
I was born at this years.
Yeah, I know. I'm so young.
Oh. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, we just chit chat or relax chit chat, and you can share your experience in teaching. Yeah, just that.
Okay. I mean, like, what would you like to know specifically?
Yeah, about your job as a lecturer or as a teacher. Like I have question like what main challenge do you face in teaching in Indonesia? Because of course you have have a different culture.
Right, right. Probably the main challenge would be lack of creativity or critical thinking. Not to say that Indonesians cannot do that or don't have that, but you know, a lot of our habits just come from habit, right? Come from how we're brought up, how we're nurtured and stuff throughout the learning years and throughout school and stuff like that. And surprisingly, it even lasts into adulthood here, which I find quite interesting. And then also an overall lack of confidence and abilities and things like that. And as far as the lack of creativity, I think that comes from just like in school where teachers always provide every single thing that the student needs. For example, even if there is like a poetry reading contest or something like that, the students will be provided the poems. Whereas like in America, the students probably would have to make their own poem or at the very least find their own poem. And one thing I noticed here, when I open the floor, to discussions, so sometimes I put the students into groups, and this is at any level, at any level. And I give them a topic and they seem to be confused, like how to develop the topic. It's almost as if free discussion is frowned upon or maybe even considered boring. So I think the students are so conditioned to just watching the teacher at the whiteboard, right? Or the teacher giving them handouts or giving them, specific instructions throughout the whole learning process. Whereas in the United States, we're given lots of opportunities to have brainstorming sessions, right? Focused discussions, free discussions. And that we really loved when teachers gave us the opportunity to explore using our, creativity or our critical thinking, even if we didn't have proper instruction yet about the topic itself. But we never frowned upon the chance to explore our own knowledge and how we can try to apply it to a topic that we're not even really familiar with. So I think that's a big challenge, just getting the students to open up and to express their creativity and then also their critical thinking skills, thinking outside of the box, and just like putting the knowledge that they do have, right, together and coming up with a strategy on how they can break down a problem or solve a problem, or maybe even come up with opinions about topics that they're not that familiar with, like that.
Right. And you have
as prospective teacher, we want to know what advice and what must be prepared to become a teacher.
I think that's a good question.
From your opinion.
Okay. Well, I believe the first thing that we have to prepare is passion. Okay. Are we becoming a teacher because we just want a job? Are we becoming a teacher because we believe in what we're going to be doing? Do we love sharing? Do we love being a hierophant? Do we love sharing our wisdom, experience, knowledge? And what kind of outcomes do we have as a teacher? What do we hope to inspire others to do or to be? Because teachers or lecturers, we're part of the shaping process, and kind of considered the experts, even though we're still learning ourselves. So I think teachers have to be prepared to never stop learning, and then also try to foster that or encourage their students to adopt the same belief, all right? Because refusing to learn or thinking that you no longer need to learn is a limiting belief, right? And especially nowadays, we're being asked to see through the illusions and to stop our limiting beliefs, right? Another thing would be that we need to prepare is kind of like our strategy. We need to understand the role of a teacher. We need to understand the role of a student. We need to understand that teaching is not just from the teacher to the student, all right? But we can also, and we should also be learning from the students, because each student has their own characteristic, their own learning style. And we need to make sure that we become a gracious host, not just standing there thinking, yes, I know everything. So, I have this position and I have all the knowledge, I have all the facts and stuff like that. And we need to get rid of our arrogance. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't be confident, okay? But we also need to remain, or maintain a certain level of humility, okay? What else? Should we prepare? We understand that a lot of people work for job compensation, security, or satisfaction. So, as teachers or lecturers know, it may not be the highest paying job, okay? But in my opinion, it's one that is very rewarding and one that is a necessity, right? And so hopefully teaching candidates or teacher candidates really have a look at the motivation that is more aligned with their desire. Is it the job satisfaction, which hopefully it should be, all right? Because teachers that are working just for the paycheck or just working for the job itself will struggle with motivation, struggle with thinking outside the box, figuring out new ideas and how they can convey knowledge or deliver the knowledge to the students, okay? And also, teachers have to work on being, teachers or lecturers have to work on being flexible. Okay, have to work on being flexible and not just, being grounded in one specific teaching style, you know, things like that. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, we should prepare. It's kind of hard for us to really, really prepare it. And we should have a good strategy for it. Yeah, thank you. And
Well, yeah, but
yeah.
Yeah, but one good thing about being a teacher, you don't only have one opportunity to get it right. You see, it's like a perfection or perfecting process. So you'll never be perfect, right? But the thing is, which each class, the only thing you have to do is stay literally one day ahead of your students, right? So it's like you always have the opportunity to go back to the drawing board and kind of like tweak your style, your strategy, or your approach to teaching. All right. Even tweak the activities. For example, let's say you gave the class or the students an activity. It didn't really give you the results that you wanted, right? Or it didn't really go as well as you would have liked it to have, right? You always have an opportunity to make adjustments, all right? And then to experiment until you find out what works for you and what works for your students.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Are you in your job now?
Am I what?
Are you enjoying with your job?
I do. But lately, it's like I've been more guided towards kind of like personal development or motivation, like confidence building and teaching about, navigating through this maze we call life, But I do appreciate all of the experiences that I had before working in the, schools and universities and things like that. I still love sharing my knowledge. I still love learning, But now I'm just more selective as to the students that I teach. Right. So I prefer to teach students or work with institutions that have like specific targets or goals, a reason why they desire this knowledge, not just to know or not just for a hobby, but because it serves some kind of purpose or goal that they have.
That's great. And I want to know what's your opinion about the salary in Indonesia. Is it worth it for a teaching staff?
Well, I think the salary for teachers in Indonesia is really, really poor. Maybe it's the same like in America, but I never was a teacher in America, so I'm not sure about that. But one thing that I don't like is the salary gap between the native speakers and the local English teachers, for example. Yeah. Now, I do understand because maybe I will be considered an expert since I come from an English-speaking country, right? But when I look at the condition in the school, the teachers, their salaries are so low, and I can't even believe it. And so automatically, it creates a little bit of animosity or envy, and it kind of changes the energy that I receive from the other teaching staff. You see? Because in the back of their minds, they always know that I make so much more money than they do, right? And for me, the salary that I do get, I don't feel as though it's enough. But when I have a look at their salaries, I can't even imagine how they live that way. And so I think that's something that definitely has to be adjusted, because that is how you can turn a teacher from having a strong passion for teaching into a teacher that no longer feels the motivation, as the cost of living is constantly climbing, as life demands or requires more finances. and the teachers have to work from morning until afternoon or evening. And then there's meetings. And then there's like, maybe.
Hello, sir. Welcome back. We are so sorry we have problem with. We're really sorry.
No problem. Okay.
Maybe Indah will be continue.
Okay. Sorry, sir. Where are you?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, United States of America.
Oh.
How is the education system there within Indonesia?
Well, like I previously mentioned, I believe in America we have more opportunities for critical thinking and creativity. Also, yeah, just for like creation, or co-creation, And I believe that freedom of expression is more valued, and we kind of know that there's always something to be learned from everybody. It doesn't mean that the education system in America is perfect. Of course not. There's no such thing. But since I do come from America, I believe that I prefer the learning style there. I mean, when the teachers teach, they even share like their personal experiences. And that helps the students to be able to relate more to the information that they're receiving, I also see that for the most part, there's like, even though maybe like, you don't have a close relationship with the teachers, but still you feel this care. Okay. You feel like they do care where you're going or what you're going to be developing into. I still have a teacher that I remember to this day. His name's Mr. Zolan. He was my physics teacher. And it's funny because every single day he wore a white shirt and blue pants. Every day. I mean, he didn't care about like all this fashion. And then, like once a year, he would change the color of his tie or something like that, So that, like, for me, it was cool because the focus was on education. It wasn't on like fashion. It wasn't on who can look the best or who can whatever like that, And he was really good at instilling discipline. Like, when we got into the classroom, we could only take out one piece of paper and one pencil. Yeah, it was easy to get in trouble in his class, but it was also easy to just follow the instructions, easy to learn, And the reason why he did that was to remove distractions so that the students would only focus on the education, right?
Yeah, that's insane and that's very cool. Yeah. And Indah?
Okay. And the last is, have you ever teaching outside Indonesia or not?
Outside of Indonesia? No, only in Indonesia.
But
well, I mean, I've taught students from outside of Indonesia, right?
Yeah.
Like, like seminars, Zoom classes, and things like that. But physically, no, I've never physically taught outside of Indonesia.
Thank you, sir.
And do you have thing like do you feel the difference when you teach Indonesian people and the other? What do you feel? What the difference?
What, friends? I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Oh, the difference. What's
Yes.
the difference between teaching Indonesians and people from other countries? Well, I would have to say probably the novelty, right? You know, like I think teaching Indonesians, there's this kind of like admiration, you know, or this appreciation, not necessarily just because of the knowledge, but just because you're like a native speaker or you're from another country, right? And again, that goes back to, I think, an overall lack of individual confidence, you know. Whereas even if I teach doctors, right, that already have, you know, STGA or something or doctor's degree, they still approach me as if I'm the one with all the knowledge. I mean, it's kind of strange, yeah. And it just basically goes down or comes down to the fact that I'm a foreigner. What's more, from an English speaking country. Whereas if I teach people from other countries, I mean, countries other than Indonesia, you know, not every country, but let's say like a more developed country or something like that, or not an Asian country, it's just a normal thing to be taught by someone that's not from their country or something like that. You know what I mean? That's not the focus. The focus isn't on where you come from. Okay. The focus is on where you're taking the students in the class. You're taking them towards what information or what knowledge, that individual confidence. Even though education is really high, still they somehow feel inferior to people from other countries. And I think that's really wrong because the Indonesian brain is a very, very unique brain. It should be studied, actually. You guys are really smart and can learn things really, really fast and, you know, become experts in things very, very quickly. Whereas, let's say talking about language, especially language, it's easy for you guys to lose the Indonesian accent and adapt or adopt any kind of accent, actually. And you can sound like a native speaker. You can sound maybe more native than a native speaker. I don't know. But your ability to learn multiple things quickly, have many skills and many talents is something that should be, you know, taken advantage of. It is my opinion that Indonesia is the future, but it will only be the future if the Indonesians realize that.
Okay, maybe it's all of our question is done, and maybe you have something to say for closing, maybe advice for us in the future will be a teacher.
Oh, yes. I would have to say that, yes, being a teacher is a noble profession, but it should not just be the profession itself that's noble, but your character and your passion and your quest through navigating the education process. Because, you know, you can consider yourselves magicians, all right? Or even alchemists, all right? Because, and also healers. You're healers of knowledge, okay? So your students that once did not know something or forgot certain knowledge, you kind of heal that, you know, and you create a bridge from their wants and desires to the reality that they desire through having the proper education. And so I think that teachers should be more responsible and knowing that teachers are more powerful than they think. Okay. And if you don't believe me, just remember your favorite teacher and why that teacher is your favorite and what they did for you and why you still remember them to this day. Okay. And so I guess just maintain, and always keep learning and never feel as though you know everything, because there's always something to be learned or something to be revisited, something that we already know, but maybe engaging with that knowledge from a different perspective, especially a perspective of a non-limiting belief. And we always have to make sure that the education that we're giving or the knowledge that we're giving is relative and is useful in today's world. Yeah. And I guess, good luck. And I hope that you guys become the kind of teacher that you would like to be, and that you always remember to give your very best to students and also give the very best to yourselves. Right.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for the advice. That really, great. And then that's mean a lot for us. Yeah. And thank you so much for your time to join this meeting. We're really sorry because we have a little problem with the techniques. Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
No problem. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. And feel free to contact me anytime if you guys have some questions or anything like that. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. I will take a picture in here. Wait.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. 1, 2. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Please.
You're welcome. All right. Bye-bye. See you guys.
You, Mr.
You're welcome.
See you.